The preseason is not about wins and losses. It is about talent evaluation, and we know for a fact that
Hendon Hooker is trash.
Man, I never thought that I would bring back the trash soundbite, especially for a guy like Hendon Hooker, but if you don't play, how can you get better? Sometimes the NFL just doesn't work for everyone, and it is now confirmed through 2 weeks of the preseason, and if 3 weeks if you include the Hall of Fame game, that Hendon Hooker is trash. But that's okay because he still has one more game to go. Right now, I'm not confident in either one of these guys being the backup quarterback. Both Hendon and Kyle were overthrowing people. Should have been some catches that they could have been. The guys were open, but they overthrew them. So right now, if I'm Dan, if I'm Brad, who was interviewed, I'm on the phone, I'm calling somebody. Not a lot of people available. I'm not trading for anyone. I'm going to get Carson Wentz, or I'm waiting till somebody is cut this, like a week and a half from now. But Hendon Hooker, after 3 years or 2 years, third preseason, but only officially 2 and a couple games in, has turned the ball over every single game, whether it was his fault or not, all of them. But Hendon Hooker is trash, and it's time to move on from both of our quarterbacks at this point. So let's take a look, and today is actually the 16th, but my graphic says the 14th, but we're just going to roll with that. Let's take a look at the stats after this game. The Detroit Lions had so the Miami Dolphins are on the left and the Detroit Lions are on the right. Let me see if I can minimize this a little bit. Makes it harder to read, but at least you can see it. The Detroit Lions had 18 first downs to the Miami Dolphins 21. Passing first downs had 12 to the Dolphins 13. Rushing first downs, both teams had 5 apiece. First downs for penalties. Speaking of penalties, let me come back to me real quick. Flags. That was the loser in today's game. Flags. There were 12 flags on the Detroit Lions through 3 quarters. Broderick Martin with the last one when he jumped off sides for a neutral zone infraction. I can't remember what happened after that, but it was still a bunch. But I'm sure we'll get to that. But insane, man. Flags were the biggest losers of today's game. Third down efficiency. The Lions were 1 for 12. Now, again, you're going to hear excitement in my voice, but this doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but it still was a pain and absolutely miserable to watch. The Dolphins was 7 for 13. Fourth down efficiency, the Lions were perfect, 4 for 4, while the Dolphins were 0 for 1. Total plays, Lions ran 63 to the Dolphins 61. Total yards, 274. Wow. The Dolphins put up 82 more yards than the Detroit Lions to 356. Total drives, 11 apiece. Yards per play, 4.3 for the Lions to 5.8 for the Miami Dolphins. Passing, we had less than 200 yards. Again, 89 yards more passing than the Detroit Lions, but that's what happens when you don't let Hendon Hooker throw the ball. And that last play of the game is why they don't do that. He was overthrowing people, and now he threw an interception. Great athletic play by the linebacker or the edge rusher, whoever it was. You can see why the vertical is so important, because he went up and got that thing and came down with it for the game-sealing interception. Completions, 26 for 40 for the Miami Dolphins. And yet again, you can see they do not trust Hendon to throw the football. The Lions threw 2 quarterbacks and 4 quarters threw the ball 30 times. 30 times. Yards per pass, 6.3 to 5.2. Interceptions thrown, 1 was that last play of the game. Sacks, the Lions got 1 sack, and they gave up 3. Rushing yards, 104 to 97. Rushing attempts, 30. Wow, 30 rushes for 20 for the Miami Dolphins. Yards per rush, 3.5 to 4.9. Red zone attempts, the Dolphins went 3 for 5. The Lions went 50%, 2 for 4. Penalties, 13 penalties. Here's the crazy part, right? According to what they said during the broadcast, through 3 quarters, it was 12 flags thrown on the Detroit Lions. Absolutely miserable. And then I guess 1 in the 4th quarter for 86 yards. It just kept stopping the game and was super duper annoying. And as you can see here, didn't even know preseason standings were really a thing, but okay then. Fumbles, 1 for the Miami Dolphins. I'm trying to remember who recovered that, but yeah. All right, let me cut back to me. The flags in this game were abysmal. I understand it's a third team and it's a second team and everybody's sloppy, but it seemed like the rest was slappies for the NFL or something, man. Somebody needed some ad revenue or something because they just kept stopping the game for flags. It's like, dog, it's the preseason. I get it. You got to crisp everything up, but it was super duper annoying. That was the biggest loser in today's game. The second biggest loser, honestly, is going to be Hendon Hooker. It really is, man. It really is. There was not a lot that stood out. Ahmed Hassanin got hurt. I do not know what the injury was or the severity of the injury. I know that it looked like it was his right shoulder, but they never showed him again. I didn't hear anybody talk about it as far as the broadcast, so I don't know what's going on with him. I'm sure Dan Campbell might be addressing something during the press conference. So I am kind of intrigued by what's going on there. And how bad is it if it's bad at all? But it was nothing that really stood out to me at all on both sides of the ball. But I will say that Mohamed was looking good. The pass, you know what? I take that back. The passes defended. That stood out. The DBs were everywhere. They were everywhere, breaking up a ton of plays. But, I mean, outside of that, I can't really say anything that stood out. Now, I do want to ask you guys a question when it comes to, as we go into the last preseason game, who makes the roster right now? Would you take Jackson Meeks over Lovett? Does Broderick Martin still make the roster? Do you take Sione Vaki over Jacob Sailors? For me, I'm taking Sailors, and I think Brad is going to make a mistake. I think he's going to keep Vaki. He's going to cut Sailors or waive Sailors and try to put him on the practice squad. And because Brad Holmes cannot let go of his draft picks, he will not name a name. If you go back into history, right? You look at Chase Cota a couple years ago. He got beat out by Antoine Green. He shouldn't have. Caden Davis was outperforming Antoine Green. He got beat out. He shouldn't have, right? Dylan Drummond a couple years ago. So UDFAs are going to, it seems like they're at a disadvantage when it comes to a Brad Holmes draft pick. Now, Sione Vaki is a fourth rounder, but the dude has been hurt, right? And Sailors is balling. Craig, to me, what today showed me was that Craig is number 3, no doubt about it. He's number 3, got a bunch of the first half, pretty much all of the first half carries. Craig is number 3. It's Jameer, David, 1A, 1B, right? And then Craig is 3. Number 4 right now, you got to give it to Sailors over Vaki. Vaki hasn't done anything. Now, if you talk about if you add special teams value, then you might be able to, fight for Vaki to be on the team. I know he's going to make the team, but should he really? And like I said, go look at the history, man. Brad will cut a guy who's performing for a guy that wasn't because he was drafted, and then the guy that was drafted doesn't do anything. So I don't know. The best player should be on the team, and that's it. And this is how these guys make the team. And right now, I cannot justify Vaki beating out Sailors. Not to say he shouldn't be on the team, but beating out Sailors. You also have to look at, I'm wondering, the Lions, they started last season off with 4 wide receivers, I believe. They added a couple more as the season went on. Tim Patrick, things like that. Usually, you get about 5, maybe 6 wide receivers. I'm like, could the Detroit Lions keep 7? Is it possible they can keep 7? You can have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. You could have Khalif Raymond. You've got Tesla, Tim Patrick, and you keep both Meeks and Lovett on the team. Speaking of Tesla, went up, got a second touchdown in the preseason. The kid is going to be the real deal. Went up and got it over the defender. Love what I'm seeing from this guy. I don't think he beats out Tim Patrick because Tim Patrick is a vet. But I do see for sure, there's no doubt about it, that we are going to have a pretty solid receiver core. It's just a question, do the Detroit Lions keep 6? Do they keep 7? Do they go with... It's no way. There's no way the Lions can justify 5 wide receivers. You got to go 6 because that means that you're probably going to don't forget about Tom Kennedy. The Lions aren't going to carry more than 3, maybe 4 wide receivers on their practice squad. So right now, Tom Kennedy is going to be on the practice squad, but do you keep both Meeks and Lovett, or do they both go on the roster, or you just keep one? Don't forget, practice squad people can be claimed. And just because they also have to clear waivers as well, right? So we lost out on Isaiah Williams last year. We waived him. Should have probably never been waived. He wound up getting picked up by the Cincinnati Bengals, and he played some significant snaps over there. So the Lions are going to have a very tough decision. Here is something as well. Broderick Martin, his second game showing flashes. I'm telling you, if Broderick Martin was in the UFL, he'd probably be a dog. Like, real talk. He'd probably be a dog. Couple things I noticed about him is he comes out, he does his thing, and then he blasted. He tired. They pull him out. We was joking about, him being on oxygen or whatever. But you can see it. Like, real talk. But then you got to remember who he's up against. They were double teaming him, but we talking about third, fourth stringers, right? If he could do that against second and first team, then you can see exactly what the Detroit Lions saw in Broderick Martin. It's just a matter of him being able to develop, and it doesn't look like that he is. But let's just go over a couple things. I want to bring something up. Kyle Allen went 14 for 17, had 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hendon Hooker, the Lions refused to let this guy throw early on, and when most of those completions came on that last drive when the passes were 5 yards. They refused to let him go and like any legitimate play development. Jacob Sailors, this is why, what I'm saying, like, I know it's head-to-head here, and Vaki has shown his worth on special teams, but you can't just discard Sailors. Like, you could cut Vaki, put him on the practice squad. Like, just because you're a draft pick doesn't mean you automatically make the team. You automatically make the team, right? So I don't know, but as far as defense, I mean, look, the defense was all over the place. Grant Stewart, he low key a dog. He low key a dog. I gotta admit, man, the day had to do returning kicks. Then he would come back the very next play and make a tackle. Created a fumble. I mean, right now defensively, I got to give him a game ball. Like, it's crazy, man. But I also believe that the defense is going, we got to see it, man. I'm getting excited about the defense, but I'm still pumping the brakes a little bit because we have not seen the first stringers. I want to see what Davenport, Hutch, what Reeder, Tyleek, who didn't play today, Ratledge, who didn't play today. I want to see the first team out there. And I still want to give it a month of December and go from there, man. So the Detroit Lions, they lose. It doesn't matter preseason. What's more important is what we saw today from the depth that was there. And, I don't know. It was pretty good. I mean, the flags was just the most disappointing part of the game. It was like, dog, like, come on, man. I mean, it was a flag. It was a flag. It was a flag. There were 4 flags picked up. There is no foul on the play. Come on. Like, to me, that just sucked the life out of the game, and it was hard to concentrate. It was hard to get in the rhythm, and then you cap it off with Hendon Hooker. They're not letting him throw, and then bloop. You legitimately could have made this a tie game. And I'm thinking, Dan Campbell go for the win. Like, forget it, man. You know Dan gonna go for the win. So anyway, just a nasty day. Nasty day, but you could see some light at the end of the tunnel. I'm ready for this to see our team. It was killing me seeing them dudes on the sideline. St. Brown, Monty, J-Mo with the shades on, Gibbs, everybody chilling. It was like, man, today was like, this is what our team this is what the Detroit Lions will look like as a UFL team. Right? Like, this today was UFL. Like, it was right there. But just come on forward. I mean, the flags was like, dog, enough is enough. But one thing that seems to be the case is
Hendon Hooker is trash.
Which does not give me joy to say you cannot get better if you don't play. That was a bar. Leave it in the comment section below. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. Don't forget, we got one more preseason game left. And then after that, the goal is for me to be on the road to Green Bay. So the next live stream will be week 2 against the Chicago Bears. Week 3 and 4, I think, is Baltimore and another road game. So come in, hang with us, our last preseason game of the year, because you might not see me after that for quite some time. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. I'm going to take a nap.